What's up, football fans? I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, and don't forget to check out and grab your copy of our two latest book releases, Football: A Love Story and What Did Football Teach Me? Visit our website at footballgameplan.com/books and get your copies today. Welcome to NFL Game Plan. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bringing you our Week 3 preview between the Atlanta Falcons and the Dallas Cowboys, in only a way football game plan can. And I'm going to be joined by our football game plan analysts, Teron Davenport, Chris James, and also Gene Clemens. And we're going to break down the whiteboard workout. We're going to give you film session videos, X factors, coaching points, as well as fantasy advice. But first, let's start this video off by breaking down my keys to victory. For the Falcons in this ball game, you want to make this a Matt Ryan versus Brandon Whedon type of a game, which means you have to take away the running game and force Dallas to throw the football more often than they want to, so the Falcons have to win on first down defensively. And I wouldn't force the football to Julio Jones. You better believe the Cowboys will come in with a plan to try to take him away and force Matt Ryan to go to those other options. So that's why it's important for the Falcons to get out in front of this first by featuring those other options, then going to Julio Jones later on in the matchup. And the best way for the Falcons to disrupt that Cowboys offensive line and what they like to do in the running game is to play multiple games up front. I'm talking about from the start of the game to the end of the game. You want to keep that offensive line guessing. You want to throw off their blocking assignments, and that way you can shut down their running game. And for the Cowboys in this ball game, I think the interior offensive line will play a huge role in the outcome. They have to be able to move those guys up front off the spot and allow the guards to get to the second level, allow those tackles to reach those guys on the outside. That way the ground game gets going. I think the interior offensive line and how well they do could ultimately determine how well the Cowboys do as a whole offensively. And you want to treat Brandon Whedon like a pro. Don't put the handcuffs on him. Allow him to throw the football. Allow him to do what he has to do in order to win this game. And when you're playing the Atlanta Falcons defensively, your linebackers have to be able to excel in the passing game. A lot of passes will come short, will come underneath. They have to rally up, make the tackle, understand where their drops are in zone coverage, and do a great job in walling guys off in man coverage. And I think that's how they can have some success defending the passing game of Atlanta. This week versus the Dallas Cowboys, I think the Falcons will have to find ways to free up Julio Jones. They do a great job anyway in moving him around the formation. I'm going to show you how they can do so, keeping him off the line of scrimmage versus what will probably be an aggressive Dallas Cowboys secondary and what they're trying to do to stop him. So we're going to go spread. 3 wide receivers, tight end. You see I have Julio Jones aligned tight to the tight end. Why? Because we're going to see what this guy is going to do to us. We're going to see whether it's a backer or a nickel back, and we're going to bring in motion. If they're playing man, great. If they're playing zone, even better. So what we're trying to do is trying to keep Julio Jones on the move, because if we have him on the line of scrimmage, they can do an even better job of bracketing him. So keeping him off the line of scrimmage allows us the freedom to move him all the way around and get the free release that we want, because we know he has a speed and he can climb on a defensive back quickly, and that way that defense, if he's even, he's leaving. That's a saying that goes in football. So that's why we want him off the line of scrimmage. We want to maximize his speed. So we're going to bring him over, maybe get them to bump over a little bit, just a little yo-yo call. He's coming right back, and once he splits that tight end right down the crack, you want to snap the football. Why? Because we're going to have this tight end work up in the deep in route. We're going to have the outside receiver, and spacing is important. You want these receivers on the bottom of the numbers. That spacing is killer to any defense. Now it makes it in the box type of a game, and this is where you can have some success in getting this guy a free release and having him roam in open space. So we have the deep in route by the tight end. We're going to have another in route by the receiver. So you see what we're doing. If they're playing man, these guys are following each other, and they're going to go inside. Why? Because at the snap of the ball, we have Julio Jones running a wheel route essentially once this guy clears, and we know how Julio Jones can climb on top of a cornerback or a safety, and Matt Ryan with his protection can drop back and throw it right down the rail. Backside, we're going to run a small in route, because if this is taken away, you can come backside to Roddy White. So this is one way they can free up Julio Jones, take advantage of the aggressive secondary of the Dallas Cowboys, and find ways to make big plays in the passing game. Opening up the Cowboys playbook, I think is going to be a lot of student body left and a lot of student body right. They do a great job with their tight ends, whether it's ace, which is 2 tight ends on opposite side, whether it's boss personnel, which is 2 tight ends on the same side, or Trump personnel, which is 3 tight ends. It allows them to expand that Falcons 3-4 defense and puts a lot of onus on those outside backers to hold the edge. And the Cowboys do a great job in reaching guys on the outside and climbing to the second level with their interior guys. And I think this is one way the Cowboys can not only ease Brandon Wheat into the ball game, giving him some play action pass opportunities coming off their running game, but also establishing the running game and shrinking this ball game and putting a lot of pressure on Matt Ryan and that offensive attack to maximize their own possession. So I think the way the Cowboys are able to run the football, utilizing their tight ends, expanding that 3-4 defense, could ultimately lead them to victory versus the Falcons.
Falcons at Cowboys. My X factor for the Falcons is Julio Jones and Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's coming off of 46 pass attempts last week. It's very clear what they want to do. They're going to pass the ball a lot. 13 of those 46 attempts completed to Julio Jones. Therefore, Julio Jones and Matt Ryan, those are my X factors. It's really important that they are able to continue that relationship that they've established. Game time, that's who Matt Ryan's going to. As far as the Cowboys are concerned, no Dez Bryant, no Romo. What does that mean? X factor, offensive line. It's going to be really key for the offensive line to keep Brandon Wheaton upright in that pocket, give him time to survey the field, go through his reads, and find Terrence Williams, Witten, what have you. But at the same time, they need to be sure to open up holes for the running backs. Running the football is what got them where they got last year. And I think when you have Wheaton at quarterback, you need to be able to run the football as well. My prediction for this game, I'm going to go Falcons 27, Cowboys 14.
Coaching points for Atlanta versus Dallas. This game comes all the way down to quarterback play. Atlanta has a quarterback, Dallas does not. If I'm coaching Atlanta, I'm looking at my defense and I'm saying pin your ears back and blitz, 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 blitz. Make Dallas beat us through the air. Blitz to fill the gap so there's no run lanes, and blitz to put pressure on Brandon Wheaton and make him beat us. If I'm Dallas, I need to get my running game going. It is imperative that I get my running game going. I have to be able to pound the ball early and often, try to shorten this game, and make sure I don't put Brandon Wheaton in a position that he has to drive the ball consistently down the field, because that's a recipe for disaster. In the end, I just don't think that Dallas will have enough firepower to win this game. I like Atlanta to win 35-14.
This Sunday, the Atlanta Falcons are visiting the Dallas Cowboys in a matchup of 2 teams that are on different ends of the spectrum right now. A lot of injuries for the Dallas Cowboys. The Atlanta Falcons seem to be trending pretty well. As far as my home start, I'm going to start Terrence Williams. He's the #1 guy at this point in the season with Dez Bryant being out. I give it a confidence rating of a 7. As far as my sits, I'm going with the Dallas D. I just think that there's too much in that Atlanta offense, too much firepower. You want to sit Dallas's D down because they might be on the field quite a bit. As far as the away start, Julio Jones, until otherwise notified, is the go-to guy. Confidence rating of a 10. Each week, he's a must start. As far as my sit, Tevin Coleman, and any running back in that Atlanta backfield, we don't know what they're going to produce. My sleeper is going to be Gavin Escobar with the future Hall of Fame player and Jason Witten out. As far as the final score in this game, I'm going to go ahead and have Atlanta winning this one 26-17.
I like the Falcons in this ball game. Defensively, the Atlanta Falcons, I think, will do a great job in slowing down the ground game, making the Cowboys one-dimensional, and putting this all on the shoulders of Brandon Wheaton, which just plays right into the hands of their ability to get after the quarterback. And as you look at the rest of our picks, we're all going with Atlanta. Tough break for the Cowboys, losing Tony Romo, and we think that's why Atlanta will ultimately come out victorious. We also want to give a huge shout-out to Falcon fan forums and Cowboy fan forums for always showing football game plan support.